Hi there, welcome back to my channel, it's James here, I hope you're doing okay. So this video is going to be split into two parts. The first part, as you can see in the title, is going to be focused on some Nepenthes. I ordered about 8 Nepenthes from Scott Carnivorous, Scotland Carnivorous Plants, Scott Carnivorous on Instagram, and he sent me a free Nepenthes with that, which is really lovely. I unboxed it about a week and a half ago, but there were issues with the recording, there were issues with the sounding, issues with the sound, so I just decided to redo it as kind of a haul kind of video, just present the plants to you as they are after acclimating for a week or so, a little bit over. And yeah, we'll just talk about them there. And in the second part of this video, I'm going to speak about some of the Hoya that I've received from purchases from trades. Somehow my Hoya collection seems to have doubled in the past couple of months. So yeah, we're just going to talk about some of those. So first of all, read the Nepenthes. I'll go through all of them with you. There is one that I'm not 100% on the ID of. Everything else, I think I know. And I'm very, very excited about. Some of these are some really, really beautiful plants. All of them are from Borneo Exotics, I believe, or most of them are, the hybrids anyway. So yeah, just excited to go through those with you. The packaging was incredible. So although I'm not going to be able to show you the unboxing because of the issues with the video, the quality of packaging was super, super good. There was no damage from the shipping, even though there were a lot of plants. They were all in one big box. It's very easy when you're packaging a lot of things together for there to be damage, but there was none of that, which is amazing. And yeah, I'm very, very happy with it. So we're going to jump straight into it. I'll go through some of these. Yeah, I'll talk about the new growth because some of them have grown super, super fast. A lot of them still have this wrap on because I wanted to, yeah, I didn't want to disturb them too much. Some of them I took out, but I didn't want to disturb them too much before refilming this. And a week or so is completely fine. A lot of people suggest leaving plants relatively undisturbed for a week or so after receiving them anyway, so I don't think it's a huge issue. So this first one is very, very nice. I'm just so happy with these. Like every time I come back and look at them, I'm just more impressed. So first of all, this is the look. A lot of these immature ones are going to look pretty similar. So for the ones that I can find images of the mature pictures, I will add those up on screen at the same time so you can get an idea. It's very similar with a lot of aroids. At the immature sort of phase of growth, they look very similar to other ones. And then as you move into more mature growth, they get really, really distinctive and spectacular. So this one is a hybrid of vichy, Hoya, babigii, and edwardiana, which is just a lovely combination. Like the babigii, which is a really, really pale, interesting, like contrasted picture, and the edwardiana especially, I love. It has lots of teeth around the peristome. So quite a lot of these Nepenthes you'll see have kind of, so the green leaf there that's come through, that has fully unfurled with me, so in my care over the last couple of weeks. And you can see the difference. There's some sun stress in the previous leaves, which isn't there in that newer leaf, so obviously I'm providing them slightly lower light than they were getting before, but they were in like a full-on greenhouse before, so I don't know how well I'll be able to replicate that, but so long as it's actively growing, I'm okay with that, and over time I will find ways to sort of induce a little bit more of that sun stress if that's something that I'm looking for. Okay, next one. This is one of the ones that the label fell off when it was in shipping, so I wasn't 100% sure when I was unboxing it, but I've kind of narrowed it down at this point between the two of them. Like it's very, very obvious. So this one is a very small, cute little Nepenthes. This is the, come on, focus please. Very, very delicate. Like they don't look like very much. Again, I will put an image of the mature pictures up for you. This is the Nepenthes attenborgi, so obviously named after David Attenborough, which is just a cool little thing. It's got very interesting pictures, as you can see. I don't know how well it will do in my care. I've heard that there's some difficulty with this one, but that might just be sort of, I don't know. I have heard the same things about so many plants that have then turned out to be super easy. So yeah, we'll see. Very, very small. I think the smallest of everything here currently. Is it? Yes, it is. Yeah, Nepenthes attenborgi. Very nice. I will let you know which one was given to me for free. I'll do that one last of all. I'll go through all of the ones that I ordered and paid for, and then we can talk through the last one. This is currently one of my two favorites just in terms of appearance. This is the Nepenthes vichy and platykyla, and it has just some incredible red coloring to the leaves. It's really, really spectacular, as well as a lot of like little hairs on it. A lot of the Nepenthes have this, they're quite hairy. This is probably one of the hairiest of the ones that I have here, apart from my closei, which is still in the grow tent. It also has a good amount of pictures, and I love this. I mean, it's not going to focus again, is it? But I love the contrast there in the picture. So the upper part is kind of a reddy pink, and the lower part is a light green. They're really, really nice. And there's a new picture coming through here. So far, I've had a lot of new pictures in the Nepenthes that I have at the moment in this larger grow tent. A lot of them are coming through a little bit smaller than the previous pictures. I don't know whether that's just an acclimation thing or whether it's a light thing. So the humidity seems to be good enough. I've heard that Nepenthes kind of stop picturing if the humidity is too low for them. That I don't think is an issue. So I think the shrinking must be to do with light. Or potentially fertilizing. I haven't been fertilizing these chemically at all. They have been eating springtails. Like this one you can't see, but in some of the larger ones, if I tip them up, you can see a lot of springtails floating around in the digestive juices, which I didn't really know was a thing, but there you go, that's happening. Okay, next one, moving on. And this is the second one, but I will double check before I post this video. So it's another really, really pretty red one. It's got some lovely red leaves. This is the new one that's unfurled. It's got a new little picture coming through there. But this picture is just so pretty. It's got a really, really interesting kind of bulbous base like that. And then, I mean, it really doesn't want to focus, does it? So you can't really see, but around the inside of the peristome, there are the sort of typical hamata, the characteristic hamata teeth. It's really, really lovely. It's quite a sturdy picture as well. Some of them, like this platykyla that I just showed you, the picture is very like papery. If you squeeze it, it feels like you could kind of crush it really, really easily, but this is much more rigid, especially at the base. Really nice Nepenthes. Again, I'll try and find a mature picture of these. Like the Nepenthes really seem to come into their own as they mature. So from what I'm definitely still learning, absolutely 100% still learning. I'm not an expert on Nepenthes at all. But from what I've read and understood, there tend to be basal pitchers, so pitchers that grow close to the ground or close to the base of the plant where there's a lot more support, and they tend to be a little bit larger, designed to catch slightly larger prey. And then as you get up the plant, there are the upper pitchers, which are smaller, more delicate, more intricate. So yeah, really, really cool. So a lot of the time, like you've been seeing here with the immature ones, the pitchers look very similar, but then as the plant matures, they change pretty dramatically. Anything hamata. Hamata, I think I spoke about this in my last Nepenthes video. Hamata was the first sort of weird Nepenthes that I was like, that, I would love to try that. It's super, super cool. Speaking of hamata, at last I have one. So this has actually grown a lot since I got it. So this is it. It's quite a small plant still, but it currently has 4 pitchers, and I think 3 of these pitchers. So is that right? I think this was opening when I got it. No, this was opening when I got it. This one has just come through fully, and this one is kind of maturing now. Again, they just look like little green people at the moment, or little green beans, but they are spectacular. It's such a weird kind of ghost-like plant with these teeth and this, it's really, really gorgeous. I think we've just got 2 more to go through here. So this one has lost all its pitchers, which really, really happens. What I found is that when I receive Nepenthes, it really, really helps to put a little bit of distilled water inside the pitchers, because obviously throughout shipping, the open pitchers anyway are going to lose all of the digestive fluid that's inside, which keeps the pitcher kind of hydrated. So I've seen in a lot of places it's recommended to add some distilled water to the pitcher as soon as it arrives, just so that you can kind of keep it around for a little bit longer. It may die off after a little while, but at least it's not just going to shrivel straight away, which I think I did that with this one. There was just one pitcher here that fell off. So this is the Nepenthes Raja crossed with Babigii and Edwardiana. So that's a really interesting hybrid. Raja is the really, really big Nepenthes. I'm not 100% sure what the pitchers on this will look like, but they are going to be super interesting either way. So that's really, really cool. Very excited about that. There's a new little one coming through here. Yeah, everything is pitchering, so I think I've got things in decent conditions for now anyway. And I haven't, a lot of these, like there's a whole complex element to Nepenthes growing. Well, it actually applies to a lot of plants. I don't think we think about it enough in the arid world, but there's a big difference in care between plants that grow in lowland rainforests or lowland environments and highland environments. The temperatures are drastically different during the day and during the night. So a lot of these plants have actually got quite different care requirements. I currently have them in very similar conditions, so I try and make it as average as possible so that I can cover the bases for as many plants as possible. But it does mean that long term, some of these might not do as well in those conditions, so I'll probably have to find another way to grow them. Typical me, I've kind of jumped into some plants. I have got space to grow these. I've got decent care for them, I think, but I will definitely be learning as I go. And I'm very grateful to Oliver from Scotland Carnivorous Plants for kind of providing these to me and also providing me with a lot of information, a lot of help, because I'm sure things would not have gone as smoothly otherwise. So this one I'm so happy with. This is just a gorgeous Nepenthes, and yeah, oh, it's so pretty. Even just as a plant, like I think Nepenthes obviously are grown for the pictures. They're very, very beautiful. They're very eye-catching. This is, as you can see, the Nepenthes have kind of shriveled off. The pictures have kind of shriveled off. Even though I added a little bit of water, I think it might have been a bit too late for those. I do really love the leaves, like on all of them. They're just such like, they've got a lot of character as plants. And obviously they vine, so from this it will vine and try and climb, so I will have to provide a lot more space for them at some point anyway. So this one is the Nepenthes Raja crossed with Babigii. Again, Raja is that really, really huge Nepenthes, and this is known as the Alisa putrana, which has, I will put a picture up of the pictures here, but they're just so, so nice. And again, really, really massive. There are so many options, like, if you like small, delicate things with like relatively little kind of frill or nothing really extra, then there are loads of Nepenthes like that. If you want something super dramatic with a huge flared peristome and like striped colours all over it, there are also stuff for that. So yeah, there's options. There is actually a new picture there. And there. Really nice. I mean, that's the new one, and that one is kind of on its way out potentially, but at least it's actively growing, which is nice. So yeah, this is the Nepenthes Alisa putrana, which is doing great. And I think we're on to the final one. This is the one that was given to me for free, and it's actually doing pretty well. So this is the Nepenthes spectabilis crossed with Nepenthes spectabilis x vichy. And yeah, the pictures are actually really happy. Yeah, this one literally opened in the last couple of days. But you can get a little bit more of an idea of sort of a slightly more mature picture there. Like obviously there's a lot that's going to change in the future growth, but I was just looking inside here because I won't be able to show you on camera, but if I tip it and look down at the fluid in the bottom, there are a lot of little floating bugs. So they are there's a lot of like living stuff in these grow tents. There's tons of predatory mites, and I've even got some little predatory wasps in there to deal with thrips and whitefly and spider mites. There's all kinds of like insect life happening in there. So it doesn't surprise me actually that something is making its way into these pictures. But I'm glad. Maybe it means that I won't have to be super actively fertilizing for now. I'll be watching the growth. I'm a little bit scared of fertilizing Nepenthes because apparently you can fertilize them kind of topically into the roots, but yeah, I will be a little bit cautious about that until I know more. So this is it. Those were the first. Those are the. Oh no, wait, there's one more. Oh my goodness, I almost missed this one. It's a really lovely one as well. Yes, this one is so, so cool. I can't believe I almost forgot this. It's one of the ones that I was most excited about. So this teeny tiny one, a little bonus for you. I wasn't counting as I went, otherwise I would have realized I only did 8. So this teeny tiny one with nice dark pictures, this is a Nepenthes lingulata, which is the name, lingulata, like tongue. The lid of the picture has like a really weird little tongue that sticks out of it at the center. It's just super, super cool. Again, I'll put a picture up so you can see, but yeah, just another really interesting one. So currently I think I have about 15 Nepenthes overall, and that is going to be enough for a while. I'm not intending, unless something really, really weird comes up. There was a recent Exotica plants release in Europe, and I was very tempted to try and get something from there, but I'm like, no, I'm just going to stick with the ones that I have, which I kind of did with my Hoya as well. When I first got them, I bought a ton, and then I just sat with those plants for like a little bit, over a half a year, just really getting used to like how to kill them and how not to kill them. And then I started adding more. So yeah, I think this is kind of where I'm at for now. I've got some really interesting ones, some slightly more uncommon ones, some slightly more common ones, and it'll be fun to just kind of see what they do. So if any of these kind of sparked your fancy, if anything was like, ooh, that's interesting, I'd love to try one. Like I said, with the code NEPENTHES10, which I'll pop up here, you can go and check out Oliver's website, Scotland Carnivorous Plants, which I will link down below. And that is can be used by the first 25 people, I think, who use that code. So if you go there, even if you just want to buy one plant and you use the code NEPENTHES10, you will get 10% off. Definitely do that. And that is the Nepenthes section over. So if you were here for Nepenthes and that's all you wanted to see, thank you for watching. I'm about to do some Hoya stuff, so if that's not your thing, feel free to hop off. If you came here for the Hoya, this is where it's happening. So I'm going to talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Hoya that I've received, almost half and half. Two of these are from swaps. Strangely, most of these I bought. Most of the Hoya I've been getting recently have been trades. I don't know why I'm not showing you more of those, but I'll probably do a whole like Hoya haul new collection video at some point, because like I said, there's a lot of new stuff which I'd love to talk about. So let's start with the trades, because I always think that's the most interesting. So this first one is a Hoya gunangading, gunangading, I don't know how to say it, gunangading, which is a Hoya that I've been after for a very long time. And I actually got a cutting of it before. I can't remember if I put it in a video, but it was unrooted and it just didn't like it. I've heard that they're quite difficult, and that was my experience. It started to root, but the leaf had already started to yellow and fall off before the roots came out, so the leaf fell and then the roots rotted and it just kind of died. But this one is very, very healthy. It already has established roots. I have it in pon with those roots, so I'm pretty sure it's just going to kind of keep on growing. It's got a growth point ready to go there. I think it was a tip cutting, which is really nice as well. And it's very green at the moment, but this is one of those Hoya that under bright light, which I currently have it under in that smaller grow tent, it will go very, very red and beautifully sun stressed. So I'll see if I can get a little bit of that going. I'm not generally super mad on the sun stress, but for this one, I will have a go. Second one that I swapped, I'm going to take it out of the water, is this Hoya Webshop or verticillata, I think is the new name for it. It's the one that under the right light goes pink, so it gets kind of pink splashes all over it. Even just like this, it's very, very pretty, very, very splashed. The shape of the leaf is stunning. It's a nice long vine, which is good with some beginnings of roots there. So this is going to be a really, really satisfying cutting to grow, because I know it's going to do well. I have it in water. This is always what I do when I receive Hoya cuttings. If they have no roots at all, I put them in water until the roots start to come out, and then I transfer them to pon or sphagnum or whatever. But I very rarely, unless I have it in a sealed container like my prop box in there, I very rarely just kind of stick them straight into pon. At the moment, just because I've had a couple of experiences where it hasn't worked as well as I would like. Sometimes it worked great, but I'm just being a little bit cautious. Okay, next one. This is all of these afterwards. After here, these are ones that I bought off eBay auctions. Most of these are from this, no, some of these are from the same seller. I'll talk you through as we go. So this is Hoya sistiantha, which is kind of like, if you've seen my Hoya praetorii before, it has a very similar growth structure, kind of a long, it's not so much a climbing or trailing Hoya, it's more of like I kind of think of it as like a ground plant. I don't know if that's its habitat, but from its growth pattern, I kind of assume that. It kind of has a long stem with twin leaves that come out to either side. It's really pretty. It's very, very splashed. Very, very nice Hoya. It's growing in pon, pretty well rooted already. It's kind of coming to the side. The leaves are very thin, like not much like most of the other Hoya I have. Again, much more similar to like my praetorii or multiflora, that kind of thing, kind of more delicate leaves, but really nice. It's a little bit more slow. I found it's rooted pretty well into this pond, and I can see it pressing against the sides of the pot, but it hasn't yet gone on to push out new growth, so we'll see how it does. A variegated Hoya welliniana, which is another one that sun stresses beautifully. It's got really, really nice variegation on the leaves. There's some lovely veining that comes through when it gets a little bit more sun stressed. Really nice. I don't have a huge amount to say about most of these plants yet because I have not had much experience growing them yet. These are kind of like 2-3 week purchases. It's got some really nice new growth there, which is coming through a little bit more pink because it's under bright light. So Hoya welliniana, variegated. Again, is getting a little bit sun stressed. It's really, really pretty. It's one of these Hoya that I saw before I kind of got into Hoya and was like, oh, I really don't like that. But now I am really into it. It's got lovely backings to the leaves. It kind of, yeah, a lot of the variegated Hoya have this, like the splashy, splotchy kind of backs to the leaves. It's really lovely, kind of overexposed, but super pretty. And the second one I have is the Lauri Lin, which is the alba marginata, the one with the variation to the edge of the leaf rather than to the center, which currently I prefer just because of how vibrant the pink edging is here, particularly on that leaf there and the one above. It's really nice. It's got some new growth there, so hopefully I'll get a couple more nice leaves like that with maybe a little bit more variegation. Really pretty. Then we've got this hoyakenagiana. I think that's how you say it, how you pronounce it. This is the alba marginata. I really, really want the hoyakenagiana nugget. I've been looking for it for a while. That's the one with the variegation to the center of the leaf, and it kind of twists in this weird way. But for now, this is the one that I have, which I really, really like as well. Although it's one of these plants that is a little bit inconsistent with the variegation. Like, I can see it on the new leaves, but it kind of just appears where it wants to, rather than remaining consistent throughout. So you can see in the first two leaves, there's pretty solid white margins, but in the new ones, there's only a little bit of white there to this side of the leaf, and the very newest one, I can't even see any yet. So we'll see what happens as it hardens out. But I may have to cut it back to encourage a little bit more variegation, which is a problem that I haven't had yet with Hoya, so that's interesting to see. The final one here that I've got is a Hoya Nova Ghost, which is very exciting. It's always a little bit scary buying this plant. I've tried to buy one multiple times, but in a lot of cases they look so similar to the Hoya carnosa grey ghost, which isn't the same plant, that you kind of don't want to risk it because the Nova Ghost tends to cost a significantly larger amount of money. This one I'm pretty confident about. I had a little wobble when it arrived because I do have leaves that look similar to this on my actual carnosa grey ghost, but I was sent pictures of the mother plant, of the growth pattern of the mother plant, and it seems much more like a Nova Ghost. So we'll see how it goes with the new growth. For now, I'm just trusting the seller. I'm trusting the seller that they bought the plant from, and we'll see how it does in the future growth. So this is the Hoya carnosa Nova Ghost, which I believe is a reverted form of the Hoya carnosa argentea princess. From what I've read and from what I've seen, the growth pattern compared to the grey ghost is much more kind of neat and compact. The carnosa grey ghost, kind of, the leaves get very long and twisted and kind of sprawly, and this one is much faster for one thing, and it seems like they come out pretty evenly, so it'll be like leaves like this all the way along a stem, if that makes sense. If you know better, if you know anything more about the Nova Ghost and the carnosa grey ghost, and you have kind of tips on how to recognize the differences, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to look into it a little bit more, because at the moment, like, people kind of tend to, like, the name is used interchangeably, like sometimes it's Nova Ghost, sometimes it's grey ghost. Everything that I've seen from people I trust suggests that they're different plants, but if you know better, please let me know. So there you go, that was it. Hopefully there was a little bit of something for everyone there. There was some Nepenthes at the start, which I'm so happy with. Like, I can't believe that I get to look after all these plants. Right after this, I'm going to take all of that tape off and give them all a water, because they're probably, that one, the one that's open, definitely needs it. And they've had enough time to settle in, so that's good. And yeah, some Hoya there for those of you who are just here for the Hoya. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see updates on these plants and all of my others, check out my Instagram at slugplants. I post there pretty regularly. If you want to subscribe to this channel and see more videos like that, please do this. Give the video a like, a thumbs up, or a thumbs down if you really didn't like it. And I will see you very, very soon. Thank you so much. Goodbye.